I never thought I would be so happy to have a guitar riff being the introduction to a talk of mine. But here we are. Makes me really happy. Hi, thank you very much for coming in this late hour, just before the beers and other drinks, to a session that is a little bit different than maybe what you've seen so far. I would invite you for a moment to let go of your desire to learn anything, because I'm not really good at that. So I'm just going to show you a lot of hopefully fun stuff, and let's just see where it goes. So my name is Alexander Chatzizacharias, blah 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 blah. Yes, it's a little bit of a tricky last name, I heard. It's because I'm half Greek, so the name comes from that. Come, join. I have a couple of hobbies. I occasionally boulder. I like climbing rocks. I have a way too expensive Magic the Gathering card collection. Some people laugh, and some people are like, "Yeah, I know how you feel." So if anybody knows a good shop here in Coimbra where I can feed my addiction, please let me know. And I play. I like play video games. I play a lot of video games. My mother would say I play too many video games. Anybody else that is a gamer here? All right, so you are definitely at the right talk. For the rest, I'll try to prove myself. And I work at a company called J-Driven in the Netherlands, small consultancy with 30 Java aficionados, so to say. And that is me in very short. All talks have a kind of origin story, so does this. Who has heard of Unity 3D by any chance? Okay, a couple people. So Unity 3D is a game engine. It's a very popular game engine, like indie developers use it quite extensively. And roughly 1.5 years ago, Unity 3D decided to, well, pardon my French, I guess, to enshittify their product by asking people that using it that they had to pay a royalty fee to Unity per install that the users did of the games. So if somebody installed your game, you had to pay Unity like 15 cents that somebody installed your game. And then people asked, okay, what if people pirate a game? Do we have to pay still? And their answer was yes. It was like, and okay, what if people just uninstall and install the game continuously? Do we have to pay still? And the answer was yes. So there was a little bit of a, well, you could say a drama. And I really liked Unity. I used it quite a lot. And at that moment I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I should use something else. And then you start thinking, okay, what do I use? Do I go to Unreal? Do I go to Godot? Do I do the really hardcore programmer thing and make my own game engine in assembly? Because the guy that made Roller Coaster Tycoon did it, so I can do it as well. How hard can it be? And around that time, I went to a talk, I think it was DevOps UK, by Trisha G and Holly Cummins. And coincidentally, Holly was also the one that gave the wonderful keynote this morning. And they said, productivity is messing around and having fun. And I really agree with this. Anybody else that agrees with this? Okay, anybody that disagrees with this? Okay, anybody that's like, it depends? So yeah, productivity is messing around and having fun. And what is the tool where I am being productive? Well, I try to be productive most of the time. That's IntelliJ. Who here uses IntelliJ as their IDE? Oh man, people working in JetBrains, if anybody sitting here is just looking around salivating at all the money. So yeah, anybody that uses, let's say, NetBeans, Eclipse, Vim. Oh, somebody walks in, yeah, Vim, let's go. Anybody that uses Notepad++? That's how I learned Java. But yeah, if productivity is messing around and having fun, that means that I need to be able to mess around and have fun in my integrated development environment, because apparently it's an integrated development environment and it is supposed to be able to do everything and anything I want it to do, right? And with how much JetBrains has been pushing AI assistance in IntelliJ the last couple of months, that it really needs to be able to do everything and anything. So then I went on a journey to see, can I make IntelliJ a game engine? Because, you know, why not? I'm a programmer, I like a challenge. Of course, there are always some rules of play, some rules that you put on for yourself, just so you do not make it too easy, right? Because then it's not really interesting anymore. First things first, no GCEF. GCEF stands for Java Chromium Embedded Framework. Anybody that worked with this before, by any chance? No? So it is basically a way to embed a Chromium web browser in Java applications. And it would look something like this. And then you can basically open a window in IntelliJ and play Wordle, tricky word, and get served ads on stage at JNation. And then you can do this, for example, or this. Oh, for a moment. Anybody knows the word of today by? Sorry? Store. Oh. Almost. We're not. Yeah. Okay, I'm freezing up now, so we can finish it later. I did not get you here to play Wordle. But we're not going to use that. It's too easy, right? Because you could basically load any JavaScript, any HTML, whatever you want, into the GCEF browser and play whatever you want, like Tracy Bird or anything like that, for the people that were in this. So, of course, if you're a gamer, you know performance is an absolute must. 120 frames per second, of course, is what you are gunning for, ideally. 144 if you're a Counter-Strike player, of course, as people, yes. Typically, you'll see 60, 30 is way too low, right? So we are gunning for ultimate performance. And I would like to immediately show you, if I go to a little video spoiler maybe, here you can see frame rate, FPS, 120 per second. So it doesn't matter that my monitor is 60 hertz, but it actually is, what you'll see does run at around 100 frames per second or close to that. So I guess this is also a little bit the part where I start burning bridges. I don't really know what the problem is with EA or Activision Blizzard or those big companies that they can't hit 60 frames per second on the Xbox. If I can hit at 120 frames per second in IntelliJ, pretty sure they can on an Xbox or on a PC, right? We won't be using any game libraries. So there is one especially popular one. It's the lightweight Java game library, or LGGL for short. Anybody used that one before? A couple people. So anybody played Minecraft before ever? So Minecraft, the first versions were created using this library. So it's a pretty strong library, right? But we won't be doing that because that, again, that would make things too easy. And I mean, if we're doing things in IntelliJ, that means we have code. That means we want to be using code as assets. Because that would also mean that hypothetically we can pull any code base out of GitHub and have a completely different game based on the code. At least that is the dream. It's not working yet as good as I expected, but you know, it would be kind of cool. So with that, we have a certain stack. Who here knew that IntelliJ was built using Java Swing? Now, everybody here knows the IDE that you use every single day in, day out, is built using Java Swing. And I have no idea how they do it. I have no idea why they still keep doing it after even migrating their whole UI to a UI 2.0, but it still runs on Java Swing. And I can tell you, as somebody that has been using Unity to make my games in the past, going from Unity 3D to Java Swing was an experience. I'm not going to say it was a very good experience, but it was definitely an experience. all the plugins we run on the IntelliJ plugin platform. You probably installed plugins out of their marketplace before. So everything is built using on top of that platform using Kotlin, like Kotlin Army. Man, I was so happy with the song. Who was at the opening keynote? Like at the opening this morning? Yeah, the Java song was fun, but that Kotlin song, right? That's where the juice was. Amazing. All right, and with that, I have a question to you. Which game launched the video game industry? Anybody got an idea? Just shout, no need to. Bong, yeah. So I figured if I was gonna make games, I should start at the start and see if I can remake Pong in IntelliJ. Because how hard can it be, right? So I have a demo project here with some dummy code, doesn't do super exciting stuff. And let's play some Pong. And as you can see, the ball is going up and down, left and right. Oh. I have to say, when I made this, I didn't realize that one of the two players was going to have a disadvantage. Who that player is, I'll leave up to you. Oh, in between the lines, there we go. So, collision detection is not perfect. Because in game industry, we call this fake it till you make it. So yeah, as you can see, we have some basic collision detection. Ball is going from left to right. You can move pads up and down, and you can completely interact with the code all the way with the lines and everything. And okay, there we go. So yeah, and that all basically is done using vector math. So if you did things in the past with vector math, I don't know if ever anybody did things with vector math. Not a lot of people. So there's like this here. Let me zoom out a bit. So this is basically the class that allows me to do almost all calculations I need to do. It's called vec2. It's actually a carbon copy of the vector3 class in Unity 3D because a good software engineer steals code. Okay, copies code, sorry. Let's not call it stealing. And yeah, this is basically allowing me to do all the calculations, intersections, stuff like that. I'm not gonna go very much into how I build these games. If you wanna know something like, hey, how does this work? Just shout and I'll try to answer on the spot, yeah? So if you have anything, criticism, insults, whatever, just feel free to shout. All right. Let me go back here and remove this line here. There we go. All right. So we had Pong, and then I started, okay, I can render stuff, I can move stuff, so now let's make some games. And then I figured I'll just, you need a theme when you're making games, and the theme, I'm a backend developer myself. Anybody, other backend engineers here? Couple, great. Front-end engineers here? A couple? Don't worry, I got you covered. So, I figured my theme should be the cardinal sins of backend development. And with that, I figured, and I would follow the timeline of the game industry. So there was a game that launched a couple years after Pong that really drove people to arcade halls to put in, you know, the little coins into the machines and play games. Anybody got a clue what that was? I heard it. Not Pac-Man. Space Invaders. I like to call it state invaders. I'm not trying to radicalize you here against any state, but we know in backend development, we hate state. We do not like state. State is the enemy. Do not introduce state. And that is why Kotlin, I'm such a fan of Kotlin, because it's a little bit trickier to introduce state. Not saying it's impossible. So yeah, time to abolish the state. As you can see, we can make beautiful menus and type start. And then we even have opening cinematics, like the war was beginning. What happened? Somebody set us up the bomb. Anybody that is getting this reference? Yes! All your base are belong to us. I tell you, I've been going to conferences, and the younger the audience gets, the less people get this reference. And I'm like, oh man, I'm getting old. This was when the internet was, at its prime, where memes were, just silly songs of all your base are belong to us. So yeah, a nice little cutscene, and here you can see we have the state invaders. That you can, I gave myself immortality because I suck at my own games. And then you can shoot. And if you are very observative, you saw that there is something written within the state of the aliens, or within the aliens. Those are all mutable variables in the code base. So I went through the whole code base and collected all mutable variables, and every single mutable variable is an alien, an enemy that you gotta shoot here. And as you can see, the more you kill, the less chance of production crashing, because there's a one-to-one correlation. It's just physics, it's just how it works. And if you kill them all, chance of production crashing is 0%. It's that easy. Now you might think, okay, this is fun and everything, but of course, every time you kill or destroy an alien with a state, I go in the code and I remove the variable where you declare it. No half-assing here. Just remove it and you figure it out. I'm not making sure it compiles or anything like that. That is, that's for the weak. Just remove it, you figure it out. Every single one of them, they're all gone. And here you can see a couple final variables that are not removed because they are immutable and they are allowed to stay. It's that simple. So in a good code base, I would run this game and I would have no enemies. Has never happened. All right. So we had state invaders. We'll jump, I think, 3 or 4 years, and this game was supposedly the first system seller. So people went really out of the way to buy a system or a game console to be able to play this game at home. Anybody got a clue? No, not Tetris. Very close to Tetris, though. Pac-Man, yes. Or I like to call it Pac-Man. Because what is another cardinal sin of backend developers? And for this one, you front-enders, you really should be ashamed with your npm install. Just installing things out of the internet and you have no idea what you're pulling in, right? Just fill up your Gradle file or your Maven POM with anything and everything. Oh no, I need to calculate if a number is odd or even. Oh, there is a package for this, how nice. Or you have a nice Docker image that you want to run your Java application on, and you just pull in the first Docker image you find on the Docker Hub, and everything is dandy, everything is fine. You don't look what's in the Docker image. Very bad. Don't do that. So, of course, I made a game around that. So now, this is also the moment where I hope the sound works. It worked in the previous presentation. Okay, let's go. So if you could quickly do something on the back and maybe help me out here. Because the Pac-Man jingle should play there. You know the... Well, no, I'm not gonna even try. And then we can play start. And you can see a beautiful maze is created. And this is not random maze, a random maze. This maze is created out of your dependencies. So I scan the dependencies of the project. I scan the Maven file or the POM file or the Gradle file, sorry, or the build.jetbrains build file. And every single letter is used to create the maze. And the ghosts, I mean, you know what the ghosts are. They are the Pac-Man ghosts, but in this case, the ghosts represent the sins of your past selves, because they are the commits. They represent the commits in Git that introduced the package with commit message and everything. So I use the JetBrains APIs to go through the commit history and pull in the first time that line appeared in the Gradle file of the pom.xml. And as you can see here, we have we got to do something with the AI or a data faker. I do hate Jackson, by the way, so that's why I added JSON. What else do we have here? Migrate project to Gradle. So yeah, so some cool stuff. All right. And then if we move around, who knows what sound Pac-Man is making? Yeah, super copyrighted, cannot use. But, and now I really hope the sound works. It doesn't. That is a shame. Wait, I'll quickly go to my own speakers then. Sound is completely, that is a little bit of a shame because you would hear Java, 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 Java. And it would get irritating really fast. But that is what you would hear. And now, so a little bit of a thing that I discovered the more I gave this presentation, that where the ghost spawn is completely random across the maze. So it is actually possible that they spawn so far away that it takes me forever to reach them. But I think I should be close to one here. Come on. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. And then you eat it up. And what do you think happens? Bye-bye. Just throw it out. You probably don't need it anyway. And of course, yeah, this is also a little bit screwed over, but you know, what you're gonna do. Good thing we use Git. So, whenever I give a presentation, I always have like this desire to show an explosion. So I guess this is a good, you know, in-between moment to show such explosion. So I made a little, you know, thing when you get really frustrated with your code and you're like, oh, I hate this piece of code. Then you can go. Now you heard it from my laptop, so that's good. I hope you can. So and then you can go. Yeah, screw this. And then you can finally let the frustration out that's been bugging you for so long. And it's really funny because I introduced this to also my team, and suddenly you would get, I would get pull requests and like fix the issue, and then I opened the files, and then I saw a hole where the method was. I was like, I mean, technically the truth. If it's very good, I don't know. What's really funny, so I made this, and then there is a bug, but I kind of changed it into a feature, I guess you could say. If I do like 3 and then something like that, and stop it. So this is the terminal, right? You can blow up your terminal. I had no idea. So if you really disagree with what your terminal is telling to you, you can just blow it up with 0 consequences. No, nobody cares. You run that unit test and it fails again, and then you can blow it up and it's like, I'll come to you tomorrow. And there's also something that emerged out of this, and I like to call it explosion-driven development. Because I mean, if you remember, like the old games where it had that had a lot of this physics, what would happen when there were a lot of physics collisions that had to be calculated? The game kind of slowed down, right? And of course, I tried to replicate this feature. And if you have a lot of code, as you can see, the explosion a little bit smaller. You know, it goes a little bit slower. Then I could make the performance better, or you know, make it go faster or anything like that. But I decided this is explosion-driven development. If the explosion is too slow, you wrote too much code. So now I'll just do explosion test whenever I see a lot of code. If it's too slow, I just send the pull request back and then explosion too slow, fix. All right. So now we're going to do a jump to the early 90s. Very popular game, really made one company very, very famous. Anybody, any guesses? Doom? No. Wolfenstein? No. Less bloody. Sorry? Street Fighter, less bloody. Sorry? Mario? No, that's Nintendo. Very dangerous to show Nintendo stuff. We don't do that. But you're very close. Sonic, yes. But, well, in my case, Sonic, the test dog. Because when we are talking about backend development, there's something that is really, a heated point of discussion, unit testing, or any testing whatsoever. I'm not even going to go into front-end land in testing, I know how you deal with that over there. But yeah, do we have too many tests? Do we have too little tests? What do we do when our tests fail? Do we just push to production? Who knows? We just do something. Assert is true, So I figured I should make a game that reflects, that unending struggle we have with unit tests. Let me go over here. All right. Then gotta go fast. And then here to start, we have to press we love Scrum. People are laughing like, we love Scrum. 1, 2, 3. And then you can see we even have an even better cutscene this time with fully animated sprites and everything. So it is also all possible within IntelliJ. And here we have the bad guy, Dr. Velocitnik, that is saying that he stole all our unit tests and scattered out through our code base, and that we have to go and find them and collect them, and we need the power of the unit test to defeat him, because of course, without unit tests, you do not have like the confidence you need that your changes actually didn't break anything, right? Quite important, I would argue. So we need them to deploy to production and make our PO happy. And he's saying that he's going to be in main.java, and there he will crush you once and for all. All right. Now we are calculating, doing some calculations out of water, and there we go. So as you can see, we can move around, we can collect coins, and every single coin is representing a unit test in the code base. So as this is built, I go through the, I use IntelliJ APIs to collect the unit tests and basically create a reference, and every coin holds a reference to a single unit test. And if you get hit, you lose the coins, which means you lose the unit test. And this is supposed to give developers, that appreciation for the unit tests, that if you're not nice to them, you might lose them. And you cannot do that, you cannot have that, right? And then, of course, we can move around, collect more coins, and then here we can go down. But when I built this, if you played Sonic before, Sonic is very horizontal. You go from left to right, and the whole idea of the game is go as fast as you can. And then I made this, and I was actually quite far, and then I started running, and I had this sudden realization, damn, code bases are not very horizontal, are they? They're very vertical. So in the end, I could have probably should have done something with Mario, but then again, I don't have money for lawyers. So, and then, I fell off, then I get to respawn, there we go, and then I can go down, and if we press here to set name, so if you stand on something that has a reference somewhere, you can open a gate, and then we can go here and see if I can make the jump. Man, I'm so bad at my own games. Okay, all right, okay, all right. There we go. And then you can basically traverse your whole code base from method invocation to method invocation to reference to reference to reference, just the way IntelliJ does it whenever you control click. But now with added flair. And I think the enemy, oh, there he is. He's there. And then, of course, we can, oh, damn. We can defeat him. Bam. Oh, no. Well, I found a bug, I guess. Can I kill him again? No. No, leave me alone. Spawn camped. Yeah, you can say that again. Okay, try number 2. Okay, never mind. Hey, I did my best, okay? But you can defeat him, you saw it. And of course, every single unit test that we picked up and lost on the way is gone forever. Well, forever until you revert your changes if you're in Git. I hope you're in Git, by the way. Right? Okay. All right. And now for the last one, before I have a question. Who here considers themselves, who here thinks they can type blindly without looking at the keyboard? I can do that. I'm a programmer. It's pretty easy, right? Okay. Who here thinks they can do it pretty fast? They're pretty fast typers. Okay. Don't forget that you put your hand up right now. Because the next sin is copy-pasting without looking what you copy-pasted. And in this age of AI and AI agents and LLMs doing all the work for you, this is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, right? So I decided, might as well make something that makes this, that makes it so that everything that you copy-paste in your code base, that you really need to know what you're copy-pasting. So I decided to make Code Hero. And I did that using something called Osu. Osu, a little bit of a shout out, it's an open source rhythm game. I don't know, anybody heard of it? Great. Anybody good at it? Ooh. So this is, so basically, this is your screen, and the circles close in, and basically you need to tap the circles on the right moment on the beat of the music. And this is how it looks when people are good at it. What's really nice about Osu is that it's completely open source, and that means I can grab like the beat maps with the timing points, completely free of charge. Anything you can all find them online, and this basically tells you at this millisecond from the start of the song, this note is supposed to be hit, and at this millisecond, this note is shown, and it was really great. So let's give it a try, huh? So we have here Code Hero. So we'll just grab this here, and then we try to so we copied it, and now we try to paste it. Nuh-uh, paste action detected. We're not gonna do that. Time to prove you're a real code rock star. I hope you can hear the music a little bit. And then we have to type every single letter on the beat of the music. There we go. I'm so good. There, and then it's pasted at your exactly where your cursor is, and then you can finish the song if you want, you know, for giggles and etc. But you got your code, you got what you want to paste, and you know every single letter had to be pressed by you, so you know exactly what you threw in, right? So, with that said, who wants to give it a try? Any of the people that were like, come? I'm a huge Mel fan, by the way. You'll see this in a bit. Hi, what's your name? Philip, hi. Okay, so I'm gonna just start it for you. Go here, and I'm gonna give you a medium song first. Is that okay? Yeah. So we'll grab this. There you go. You can do it, man. So a medium amount of text was pasted. So you're getting medium. I love that the IntelliJ just keeps trying to compile. Like, hey, what are you? What is this? Case insensitive. Oh, actually pretty good, right? Color me surprised. Well done. Have you played Guitar Hero back in the day? Yeah? Guitar Hero 3 by any chance? Oh, okay. So I can see that you need a little bit of an extra challenge. There's one song in Guitar Hero.
Fire and Flames?
Through the Fire and the Flames. Let's do it. If anybody can do it, it's you, Philip. Because I can't.
I can try.
Here we go. So now it's gonna detect that you are trying to paste a lot of text, hopefully. Significant amount of text. Good luck. So can you imagine if you just generate a whole project with your with an agent, AI agent, to try to copy it? The good thing about Through the Fire and the Flames, it has a long intro, so you can get ready. Does it bring memories?
I need my mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. You were great. He did much better than I would have ever done. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Never in 1,000 years I would have been as good as this. So yeah, like this, you can be finally, you can answer those pesky recruiters on LinkedIn. Yes, I am a code rock star. Yes, I can paste code in on Through the Fire and the Flames extreme difficulty, easy, or any other song you might you might enjoy. So yeah, that was the last game I made. And when I finished, I realized I have a couple feature requests to JetBrains. Who here knows the feedback sandwich by any chance? Anybody heard of that term before? Yeah? So the feedback sandwich is when you are giving feedback to people, you're supposed to start with something nice, then you give the feedback, and then you end up with something nice, right? So on a completely unrelated note, JetBrains, amazing company, IntelliJ, great product when it's not indexing, I guess. But I do have some feature requests. For example, they should add MP3 WAV support because it's not there. I have to do all kind of resource loading shenanigans to make this work. I don't like that. I just want my sound manager dot play path to music file and then you hear it. That's what I want. So please. They deprecated PNG support, those because they thought, well, I mean, we're working with icons here. If you're working with icons, arguably you want to work with SFGs. The front-enders here know all about this, right? Well, I'm not working with icons. I'm working with textures and texture maps and stuff like that. And if I take a look at, for example, my sprites, and then I look at Sonic here, here. So this is one image. It's a so-called sprite sheet. And basically this is a PNG image with transparency with every frame on the same image, which makes loading very fast because you only have to load one image and then I basically go every, I think it was every 30 pixels to the right, load the next image, 30 pixels of height, and then just move through the whole sprite sheet and load all the sprites I want. Super fast, super quick, doesn't work if they deprecate PNG support. So how about no? And while we're at it, just add GIF support as well, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's 2025. Basically, all developer communication on Teams or Slack happens 80% through GIFs, I'm pretty sure. We just send GIFs to each other. So why isn't it officially supported by JetBrains and IntelliJ? I don't know. They have this API, it's called GB Color. This is a little bit of a pet peeve of me, but I will never let it go. And GB Color is a wrapper, let's go here. GB color is when people are watching, you always do mistakes, right? So it's a wrapper around the Zwing color class, and what it does, it basically creates JetBrains friendly colors for you. So you don't have to think about theming and branding and stuff like that. You can use these colors, and you know they are according to what JetBrains thinks it's okay for their brand, for their IDEs. But then if you have a red color and then you want a little bit brighter or a little bit lighter hue, you can do brighter. Super nice. Then you run your code and you're like, it's still not very bright enough. So then you need to do brighter. If it's still not good enough, brighter and brighter. And eventually you have that color red that you want. But I don't know. I feel we have the technology to just do something like red dot at hue, and then you put in a number, and that's it. And then you have the red color at the hue that you needed. But I don't know. What do I know? So that would be really nice. What's also really quite well, frustrating, but it makes sense. Whenever you write something in JetBrains or in JetBrains IDE or an IntelliJ, it's submitted to a write queue, which makes sense, right? So they make sure that everything is pasted on the correct ordering. But what's really frustrating, as a developer, plugin developer, you have no idea when something is actually on screen. You can only do a guess. And if you're making games, you don't want to guess. You just want to make sure something is shown on screen because you want to show more feedback to the user. You want to interact, as quickly as possible, stuff like that. So more control about when write action happens would be really cool. The other people that used Unity before probably heard about this. It's called the delta time. And delta time is do the front-enders here, do you know what delta time is? Okay, well, I'm going to teach you something today. So delta time is the time it took for this frame to render with a previous frame. So it's the time between the two latest frames. And you can use this delta time to calculate speed and all those kind of stuff without being frame rate independent. For example, nowadays, if you run an emulator of the PlayStation 1 on your computer and you play like Devil May Cry or something like that on that emulator, you're gonna be running super fast because the game was locked on a single frame rate and all calculations were done with that frame rate in mind. And now, if you use the delta time, you can pull those apart and the speed can be constant over multiple frame rates. And I do not know what the frame rate is, and the sharp eye might have noticed that sometimes animations became quicker. And for example, the mushroom man, they were like walking like this, wink, 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 wink. And then at some point they started going, something like that. And that is because I don't know the frame rate that the draw frames that IntelliJ is pushing, so I'm not frame rate independent. And eventually another pet peeve of mine, I have no way of getting the color of a letter on screen. I have to go through the schema that the user is using. So first I need to ask, okay, this letter, it's part of which keyword? And I have to basically go through the whole PSI tree. The PSI is the program structure interface. That is what IntelliJ is building underwater when it's indexing so long. I told you I was going to burn bridges. And I need to ask, okay, this letter is part of which keyword, and this keyword is supposed to have which color, and then I go to the schema, and the schema is going to tell me, okay, it's supposed to have this color, and then I know which color a letter has where my cursor is, which is quite convoluted. So if you take a picture of anything, take a picture of this. Send it to JetBrains, tweet it, Google it, toot it, TikTok it, I don't know. Just send it there. Tell them, what are you doing? Whole untapped market over here, come on. So I mean, it's all fun and games, and Holly this morning said something very similar, right? I had a lot of fun making these, and I didn't get much value out of it except for the fact that I'm standing here at conference, I guess. But I want to tell you that coding is your superpower. Don't forget this. relatively speaking, even this is a full room, relatively speaking, there are not a lot of people on Earth that understand computers and can code computers. So it is your superpower, and please don't use it wisely. Go out there, make whatever you want to make, experiment with things, fool around, find out what works, find out what doesn't work, have fun. And if you have fun, at some point you'll learn things, because I learned so much about how IntelliJ works here, the internals of IntelliJ, what they do, I think, right, what they do maybe wrong, I don't know. Funny story, I spoke to some UI people from JetBrains, and I showed them this. And they looked me dead in the eye. I was like, look how cool, and you can do this. And they looked me dead in the eye, and they said, this shouldn't work. And they're like, okay, well, I'm sorry, I guess. I don't know. But it does. I don't know. But yeah, I have fun. I had so much fun with this. Every week I was going back to my team. I was showing them what I made the past week. We had fun each other. There was so much ideas that you saw today that came from other teammates, like Sonic the Tester was like, yeah, you got to do something with Sonic and testing. Another teammate said, you know what would be fun? Instead of waka waka, Java, 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 Java. You know, and it was such a, I don't know, I don't want to say bonding moment and get all emotional, but it was really fun. So yeah, can IntelliJ be used as a game engine? Who here thinks yes? So this is the best score I've ever had. Who here thinks, no, what the hell are you doing, man? Who here, I see. Who here thinks it depends? No, it depends. I thought there was a software engineering conference. What's happening? Before I let you go, there's one last visibility check. Anybody can guess what it is? Can it run Doom? Who here thinks, yes, it can run, of course it can run Doom. Oh, okay. Who here thinks, no way, Jose? Okay. Who here thinks it depends? But yeah, I mean, if I can do everything else, of course, I hope. There we go. I can run Doom on the document where you're working in IntelliJ with sound and everything. If you look back at it, it was a pretty bloody game, huh? And in the end, this was quite easy to do. It was like, just grab the jar, there's a... Okay, wait, let me stop it first. Maybe talking with screams and everything behind me is not... There is this awesome open source GitHub project called Mocha Doom, where they ported a lot of parts of Doom to Java, and basically you can just download the jar and you can run it wherever you want, and it's amazing. So if you want to run Doom somewhere, because we know, hey, Java, 30 years, what is it, 3 billion devices worldwide run Java? Well, those 3 billion devices can run Doom as well. All right, so yeah, thank you very much for watching. That was all I had to show you. Thank you very much. So people ask me if they can download the games. That was a lot of work, so I was not going to do that. But the exploding part, I extracted it, and it's a plugin you can download for your IntelliJ. Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't stand in front of the QR code. And it's a plugin that you can download for your, well, to troll your own team, I guess, and explode your code whenever you want. So that is, you can find it on the JetBrains marketplace. I'm a Blue Sky if you want to get in touch. And if for some reason you want to look at the code to make these games happen, they're all on GitHub. You can find them there. Little disclaimer, it doesn't run out of the box because I'm not allowed to share things like some of the images and some of the sounds. But if you want to pull it and make it work, just send me a message and I'll help you along. Yeah? And then again, thank you very much. I don't think we have time for questions, but I'm going to be here. And I'm definitely going to be at the party in a bit. And you can find me there and you can ask whatever you want. Thank you very much.